Hey everyone, and welcome to Cricket SWAC Gameday, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. I'm Tolly Carr from Atlanta, and we are ready for week 4 of the college football season. Man, a month has already flown by. There are some things that we have found out in that month that we know for sure about our teams. We know that Jackson State is pretty good, right? There's that. But there is still so much uncertainty that will be resolved in the weeks to come as conference play takes over the schedule. So much is still ahead today, and it's all brought to you by Cricket. Smile, you're on Cricket. Pepsi Zero Sugar, official partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. All right, let's jump right into last week's scores, so you'll know exactly your team's state of mind heading into this weekend here. Jackson State with the second half explosion against Grambling. I mean, that game at halftime was one game. After that, totally different game. Austin Peay, they handled Alabama A&M. Texas Southern turning heads with the shutout of Southern University. UAPB was outmatched in its game against FBS opponent Oklahoma State. Mississippi Valley State found a spark, but it wasn't quite enough against Delta State. Prairie View A&M shorthanded against Incarnate Word. They lose at home, and Alcorn State rang those revenge bells against McNeese State. All right, so that brings us to Saturday, and almost the full conference schedule. Valley travels to Jackson State. It's the Battle of Mississippi. Grambling is at Bethune-Cookman in the Sunshine State. Texas Southern, the only out-of-conference game, they're going to take on the University of Texas San Antonio, otherwise known as UTSA. Alabama A&M at Florida A&M. I like that one. Prairie View will visit Alabama State, and UAPB on the road at Alcorn State. All right, let's jump on the highlight train as we look back at last weekend's action. Highlights are brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We begin our coverage Grambling at Jackson State. Let's go down to Josh Williams from HBCU Gameday.
Grambling State was very vocal about their plans for the game.
Slow them boys out, man. You know the ball. Put it away, baby.
And he was not wrong. It is that time. We got Jackson State taking on Grambling State for the first home game of the season. Let's get to it. And not the very first play, but on second down, Grambling State tries to move the ball and they fumble it. JSU forces a fumble, and now they're taking over at their own 20. JSU wastes no time, puts the ball in the air to their tight end for a nice little out route to convert for the first down. JSU gets all the way down to the 2-yard line, and they finally punch it in with their running back, but it's called back for a holding. So on 3rd and 1, what you think gonna happen? Shedeur Sanders says, man, I got this. Takes it in for himself, and he finally gets a touchdown to go for the first points of the game. Next possession, GSU tries to put the ball on the ground again and tries to get something going on offense. With that being said, this little screen pass on 3rd down kinda gets them going on offense, as this sets up a first down. JSU forces a turnover on downs, and Shane Hollywood, emphasis on Hollywood, hooks come down with a crazy one-hand ESPN top 10 catch. We had to play that back twice for y'all. Shedeur drives back for the pass, tries to find somebody open, but Grambling has great defense, forces a sack, and forces a turnover on downs. Grambling State still searching for a consecutive drive as they try this quarterback option. Look at him fighting for them yards for that first down. And as soon as Grambling gets a little bit emotional offense, they down with the pressure and it forces an interception. Back to Jackson State's ball. JSU gets the ball back and they hand it off to the running back. And this man is playing the wrong sport. Clears his defender with no problem. Give that man a basketball scholarship. And after something impressive like that, it's only right that you march down the field and let him finish it off with a touchdown. JSU goes up 14-0. And I'm not gonna lie, it was looking real ugly until Grambling State pulled this off. A 70-yard run all the way to the crib. Nice little jab cut right there. You can hear from the coaches how excited they were. And this is whenever I thought the miracle was gonna happen. Grambling State forces a fumble for 6 at their own 10-yard line, and they run it in. Now the game is tied, 14-14 at the start of the second quarter. Now we have a game. Very next possession, JSU gets a nice little pass off, and this goes for a big chunk play. With their backs against the wall again, Grambling State has to force a stop as they get this nice tackle for loss on 2nd down. On 3rd and goal, Shador throws a missile right across the middle. It happened so fast I couldn't even get him on my camera, but I got the touchdown celebration, which I rate in the celebration. With a couple minutes left before halftime, GSU just trying to get something going on offense before halftime, but Jackson State is all over it. With Jackson State forcing a turnover on downs, they're trying to get more points on the board before halftime as they get a nice conversion, but they fumble the ball. And guess who grabs it? Grambling State gets a chance to get some points before half. With that being said, GSU does march on the field, kicker kicks the ball, it's up, field goal is good. 21-17, Jackson State. And even though it was halftime, it was no breaks as Grambling State band was taking it to Jackson State. But if you know anything about the sonic boom, you know they're gonna clap back. Take a listen to this.
As you focus your attention to the Jumbotron, you may have noticed that we haven't said one shady word about Grambling because they speak for themselves.
Now me personally, I wouldn't take that type of disrespect. But let's get back to the game. Fresh out of halftime, JSU looking to air the ball out still, as they air it out to one of their wide open receivers, but it goes right off of his hands. But that ain't stopping nothing. Shador finds his receiver wide open, streaking across the middle as he goes in for the touchdown. I don't know what Dion told them at halftime, but they came out on a whole different mindset as they get this nice tackle for loss. And that speech at halftime had them Tigers feeling different. Not Grambling though. JSU forces a sack fumble right here, which was called for holding, but it gets overturned. And now it's JSU's ball on the 10-yard line. And this is where the floodgates open. JSU hands the ball right back to the running back, who has some versatile juke moves. Gets back in the end zone. This is pretty much all she wrote. I can't even lie, man. With this stat line from Shador, he has to be getting looks from the NFL. Look at this throw. Puts it right on the money, right on the sideline to where only his receiver can get it. Another touchdown for JSU. And after this, things get a little bit chippy. And after this interception, it pretty much seals it for Jackson State. With that being said, Jackson State brings home their first home victory of the season, 66-24. And with a dominant win like this, you just gotta wonder who's gonna be JSU's new competition.
Mississippi Valley State couldn't get it together in the first half, trailing Delta State 18-0 at the break, but they did outscore their opponent 17-10 in the second half. Reason for optimism in the 28-17 loss. UAPB at Oklahoma State, this was going to be a tough challenge for the Golden Lions. These are the games where you simply want to not get hurt, you do want to collect your earnings, and you do want to move on to conference play. Oklahoma State runs away with this one 63-7. Alcorn State, McNeese State, Nico Duffy, 13-yard touchdown, the first points of the game. Jarvion Howard on the sweep. You better wrap that young man up. He's still running right now. They can't bring him down. 14-0 Alcorn. We have a new trigger man for the Braves, Aaron Allen with the quick flick, and Montario Hunt is on the prowl for a touchdown. The defender fell after the catch. That's all she wrote. Nothing but air and opportunity in front of Hunt. Alcorn with the 30-19 win. Prairie View A&M able to book in a couple of touchdowns in the first and fourth quarter against Incarnate Word, but the final word goes to Incarnate Word. See what I did there? They scored 31 through the first three quarters to win it, 31-14 at Prairie View A&M. SWAC coaches, they were all on the media call earlier this week, and a lot on their minds as we have a bit of a sample size, right, of the season to this point. Let's start with the coaches who got a bye last weekend. Those are all wins. Eddie Robinson Jr., Willie Simmons, and Terry Sims are all ready to lead their teams back onto the field after a week of adjustments and a little bit of rest.
Yeah, so I think we did a good job of winning the bye week. And I say that because you can lose it. I feel like did a good job of getting everybody healthy, made sure everybody caught up on academics. You know, of course, that's a big part of it. did some community service. So it was good just to try to correct all the mistakes that we've been having over the last couple of weeks, try not to be predictable and those type of things. So I thought it was a good week as far as, getting the kids back enthused and coaches recharged and everything like that. This week we have Prairie View coming to play 5 p.m. kickoff. So it should be real exciting. Our first SWAC game of the year, and it's at home. So that should be a really big deal. Know Coach McDowell, Bubba, really good, and know he'll have his team ready to play. So it's going to be a big challenge for us to get the crowd going and to play well at home.
Bye week was, I think, good for us. We had 2 tough losses, and just trying to figure some guys out around here, have a few new guys in our program. So we were able to get back to basics, go back to square one, and fix a lot of little things that we had going on, which was, great for us. I thought we needed the time to recap those first 2 games and kind of get back to who we are.
I thought the bye came at a really good time. We had 3 really tough weeks, mentally and physically. So gave our guys a chance to just kind of get centered a little bit. Came off our first win of the season the week before, so was able to ride that momentum into the bye week. Had a great week of practice, we felt. We're able to rest some guys and get them closer to being able to play this coming week. We know we are back in conference play against a feisty Alabama A&M team that is playing, better every single week. And so got to be ready to play, ready for a 4-quarter football game. Got to have a great week of preparation.
Jackson State has been remember we used to do that? Rolling this year, unbeaten at 3-0. But a coach is never happy, right? JSU led Grambling 21-17 at the half before ultimately winning 66-24. This soundbite right here, head coach Deion Sanders at halftime.
Coach Prime, all week long you worked on not giving up the big plays, no turnovers, cleaning up the penalties, and that's exactly what's giving them 21-17 score.
This is ridiculous. I mean, this is I crap the emotions I have right now on the inside. This is not indicative of who we are. We don't want to be great. We just want to be good. We don't want to dominate. We just want to win. That don't work with me.
What's your message to the team at halftime?
I have no idea.
Okay, after the win, he was a little bit happier, just a little bit.
Coach, a tale of 2 halves, right. 45-7 after half.
I went off. We just got to get it right. We're chasing perfection. We're trying our best to be dominant all 4 quarters. We start off with winning a series, winning the first play, then winning the series, then winning the quarter, then winning the half, then we repeat the process. We got to do better. We got to be more consistent. The second half, that's who we are. That's really who we are. First half, I didn't even recognize that team.
A couple of coaches who are still trying to find their way into the win column. It's been a rough road out of conference so far for Alabama A&M and Mississippi Valley State, although the Delta Devils believe they found a little bit of a spark at the quarterback position.
Yes, Jamar came in and gave our offensive spark this weekend. Me as a coach, I'm a guy that, I look at what you do throughout the course of the week and just not on Saturdays. He had a great week of practice. And we knew that he would get this opportunity this week. Of course, we came out with TJ Goodwin, but so yes, he did what we asked him to do. He was able to move the ball down the field, up and down the field, but give our offense a spark, give our guys some life in that second half. And so yeah, we right now we're going to see, he's going to lead us out this weekend, and we're going to we're going to prepare him well this week, and we're going to see what he can do for us on Saturday.
I think it's going to be a great matchup. I mean, we're in conference play now. Every week it's going to be exciting, competitive games, and I don't see this one being any different. We all know how hard it is to go down to Dope Stadium and win in Tallahassee. And then you got Coach Simmons always doing a great job. His team's always prepared. They're going to play hard. And then they got that 12th man, that crowd, and of course they got the band. So, we got to go down and play well this week. All 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And it's going to be tough, but we look forward to the challenge, and I think it's going to be a great football game.
Hugh Jackson, he got his first taste of coaching head-to-head in a SWAC matchup, and he sees what the measuring stick is now after the tale of 2 halves in their game against Jackson State.
I think what it showed us is that we got to continue to coach it and push and demand things at even a higher level because it's in there. We saw it for the first half to be 21-17 with that team, which I think is a really outstanding football team. We need to continue to grow and get better. And I think to a man, we understand that. So I think it's pretty simple. You know, you got to make sure that you finish games as much as you can. I think every coach is looking to do that. And we just got to do it better than what we did it this past week.
Clarence McKinney and his squad got the shutout against divisional rival Southern. Now it's on the road to UTSA. The Roadrunners, how about that mascot? The Roadrunners have played 2 overtime games already this year, defeating Army and barely losing to U of H, Houston. They also put up 20 points in a loss to the University of Texas.
We're looking at, we've looked at them. They're a big, strong, physical, fast team. Probably the best team that we've set eyes on so far this season. And it's going to be a challenge. You know, they're Conference USA champion and they got a lot of guys back. And we got our hands full.
Prairie View A&M, they had to go without Trayvon Conley last weekend, and that's their man at quarterback. And that totally changed the complexion of its offense in their loss to Incarnate Word. Coach Bubba McDowell was still, however, singing the praises of his team heading into their matchup against Alabama State.
You know, we didn't play a good first half, but second half we came out, played really well. You know, yeah, I thought we had some chances where we could have made the game a lot closer than it showed. But again, that's on us as a coaching staff, as players. As I told them in the game, you know, we just got to stop the mistakes that we have been creating, and that's continued to hurt ourselves. We have them, you know, in the backfield. We don't make the tackle. We dropped a lot of balls. We gave the young buck. Channing Dumas, the true freshman, came in and did well. I mean, we you know, as I told the O-line and back, I said, you got to protect this young man. I mean, he's going to go out there. If you give him time to throw the ball, to read his keys, he was going to do that. And he's a very smart kid. And again, we didn't execute on the opportunities that we had
And that brings us to our game to watch for the weekend, brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Alcorn State. This will be the first conference game for either team and an opportunity for us to see where they both stand as divisional rivals. UAPB has played either above or below their classification all season long, and Alcorn State has been measuring itself out of conference for the first 3 weeks as well. So none of those outcomes will directly impact who can make it to the SWAC championship game and potentially the Celebration Bowl, because now is where that rubber meets the road, right? And it all begins this weekend. Alcorn State, accustomed to winning divisional titles out east, now the second year out west, they've yet to feel that glory. UAPB, they got a taste in the spring. And trust me, they've been chasing that feeling ever since. Both coaches now talking about the matchup. We'll be watching closely this weekend.
You know, the biggest thing is they got dynamic players. You know, they got Skylar Prairie. He's going to throw the ball around the yard. So got a great running back in Brighton, and he's going to run the ball very hard. You know, so those are the things that we have to compete for. You know, we had a tough outing last year against them, and we had to really work hard and compete. You know, Doc Gamble going to have those guys ready to play. You know, just from the outcome of what we did last year, of coming back and fighting. You know, I think the biggest turnaround that we have this year is we got more depth than we had last year up front. So that's going to be a big difference in the things that we do in terms of this football program. I think that we did a great job of going out and addressing the positions that we needed to address in terms of getting more depth for our team. And I think we did a great job on defense and the defensive front. You know, of course, the linebackers, too, of getting more depth, those positions that we needed in terms of rotating guys in and out, getting them some blows, giving them some rest. So, you know, Doc gonna have these guys ready to play. We got a tough out in front of us. They got a great defense. Do a lot of things on defense. They create problems, you know. But we just got to be prepared this week as a team. And like I told the team last week, you know, it's all about us. You know, it's all about Alcorn State brand of football and how we play.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out here today, and a little bit last night as well. They're solid across the board, well coached. Coach Fred McNair is going to have them ready to go like always, and then they're well coached on defense. I work with all those guys that's on the defensive staff. They'll be well coached over there. Absolutely. Special teams will be good, and offensively they're gonna do what they do, and you're not gonna take them out of what they want. You're not gonna force them to do anything that they don't want to do. So. And then the other thing about it too, that they're very stingy at home. It's a tough place to get a win. So it's a big time challenge for us, but we're looking forward to it. I'll tell you that.
Southern University has the week off. Coach Dooley and his team were not expected to lay an egg against Texas Southern last weekend. I don't think a lot of people predicted that one, but that's why you play the game. Cue up Coach Edwards, wishing him well today. But back to Coach Dooley. The bye week comes at a great time as Southern prepares to go on what they hope to be a big SWAC run starting in October.
Well, we made our corrections from the last game. We feel now we just got to continue to hone our skills, get better at what we do. We like what we're doing. We like where the guys are. Of course, we, say, well, how do you like it, Coach, when you lost the last game? But absolutely, we like what the guys are doing. Now we just got to get those guys prepared and be ready to go for our next contest because it is a long season.
Partnerships. That's what it's all about in the SWAC when it comes to corporate relationships. You need the support to elevate your product, and brands across America are genuinely interested in aligning their businesses with the Southwestern Athletic Conference. One of those key relationships for the SWAC is Pepsi. Our special guest joining us now, Derek Lewis from Pepsi. Derek, so everybody gets it right, man, because your title is so sweet. I know I will mess it up. Tell us your exact title.
What's
with
up,
Pepsi.
Tolly? It is Derek Lewis. I'm president of Multicultural Business and Equity Development, PepsiCo North America.
Man, that's experience. That is a resume.
That is a lot of
right
experience.
there.
34 years in, that's probably appropriate.
You get more square footage in your office and more characters on your title the longer you go. Man, you've been a big part of the HBCU conversation, man. I've seen you everywhere. I've seen you hanging out with Coach Prime. I'm good friends with Lavelle Moten. We went to high school together. I'm looking on Facebook. You guys are having lunch together. What have these HBCU conversations been like for you the last few months?
They're powerful. Look, they're very strategic. I'm an HBCU alum, obviously out of Hampton University, the real HU. I know there's always a debate out there, but let's set the record straight.
I have no dog in the fight, but I'll go with you here.
Let's set the record straight. Hampton University is real HU. But so there's always tremendous passion and pride to lean back in and ensure that we can create access and level opportunities for those same students that exist today. And now the role I'm in, I have the opportunity to do that at a bigger scale. I've always been doing the work, but now I can really get to what I call the next level of opportunities for students, student athletes, administration, the alumni community at large, right? So to me, it's a real more creating a high-level Indian experience with the HBCU culture and community holistically.
The SWAC, I mean, if you just look around, it didn't even look like this last year, 2 years ago. It is each year, not only incremental steps, we're talking huge sea change steps in the amount of attention, coverage, just the buzz, the metrics around the SWAC. Pepsi has always been, not always, but recently has been closely aligned with the SWAC from a sponsorship level. How great is it to see that growth within a partnership?
Well, that's what we're all about. I mean, we take on these partnerships with a growth mindset, right? Not just baby steps, but really major steps, right? And I got to give, Commissioner McClellan, his team, the universities, all the athletic directors, everybody associated with the SWAC a tremendous amount of credit because they've embraced this partnership in a very strong manner. And we've focused on next level. So we always create this sort of, I think, have this healthy dissatisfaction where we are. We want to be even bigger. This is a big platform. We want to be even bigger and bigger. We want this to be the most elite conference in America, not just amongst the elite, but the most elite, right? And how you do that is you continue to build out these strategic conversations we have, turn them into real ideas, into real action. And that's where I feel like our partnerships are absolutely at the same level because we're focused on being strategic, we're also focused on action. And, we grind, we hustle, we make things happen, we build on it, we learn from things we can do better, we keep accelerating, right? And so it's my job to push, we're trying to push the culture forward, as I would say, And I think we're just getting started. So if this is any sign of what the growth potential is, I think it's got much, much more potential. And I think you're going to see that play out, not only through the course of this next upcoming school year and seasons of sports, but subsequently years after that. I think it's going to be one of the most talked about things in terms of transformation that's happened in the industry.
It has to be rewarding for you to be involved from a corporate standpoint, have your roots at the real HU, as he says here, at Hampton, to see this synergy and the growth and know that you're interconnected in more than one way. Yeah, it comes from a place of authenticity. Pepsi has HBCUs in its history, deep. We were the first company to hire African-American interns back in the 1940s. Alan McKellar Jr. and Jeanette Mound. I had a relationship with Alan McKellar until he passed away a few years ago. So I understand from a DNA perspective, this is rich in our culture. I joined Pepsi because I knew the opportunities it created for blacks. And I've been here for 34 years. So it tells you that dream can be lived and it's real inside our company. And it's my job now to make sure I can extend that dream out to many others, not only to be able to join our company, but also to reach their full potential and have access and opportunities to do the things they want to go do, to be who they want to be and do it the way they want to do it and do it in an authentic way. And so that's who we want to be, who we are. Sports is in our DNA, so there's a natural synergy on the sports side, entertainment, music. So culturally, our brands play in this space. We're going to take full advantage of that. Our brand's going to show up in big ways collectively to create those next level experiences, not only for the fans, the alumni, but the students, the student athletes. It's a holistic effort. And so exciting to have that opportunity to be with a company that actually cares, leans in the way we do, and it gives me the license and the opportunity to lead it. I think it's just tremendous and feel very, very blessed. Thank you, Derek, and thanks to Pepsi and all of our sponsors for supporting the SWAC this year. All right, let's keep it pushing to our players of the week in the SWAC. Spoiler alert! There are some familiar faces here because you simply can't ignore dominant performances each week, especially when it happens week after week. Players of the Week brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Jackson State's Shedeur Sanders, Aubrey Miller Jr., and Savion Wilkerson, along with Texas Southern's Richard Garcia III, are all SWAC Football Players of the Week for their outstanding performances during the games played last week. All right, let's talk offense. Sanders accounted for a career-high 6 touchdowns, 4 passing, 2 rushing. During Jackson State's 66-24 win over Grambling State, he completed 22 of 34 passes for 357 yards. Sanders threw touchdown passes of 7, 26, 86, and 23 yards to go along with touchdown runs. He can move. We've seen the improvement this year. He had a 1-yard and a 15-yard touchdown. All right, his teammate on the defensive side, Aubrey Miller. He contributed 8 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 pass breakup, and 1 quarterback hurry against Grambling. His forced fumble on Grambling State's first drive of the game led to a turnover and the first JSU touchdown of the game. All right, our specialist of the week, Mr. Garcia. He was a key contributor for Texas Southern this past Saturday as the Tigers defeated Southern 24-0. He averaged 46.2 yards on 5 punts with a long of 57 yards, highlighted by 2 punts over 50-plus yards, giving it the boot in the boot. Garcia also went 1 of 2 on field goals and made 3 extra point attempts. Our newcomer of the week, Wilkerson, for the second time this year. He rushed 23 times for 141 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was his first start of the year for JSU. He contributed scoring runs of 3 and 11 yards while also setting season highs in carries, rushing yards, touchdowns. All of this during Jackson State's 66-24 win over Grambling. All right, let's check in on the SWAC standings now and see how your boys are doing so far. And by your boys, I mean you get to fill in the blank, whoever it is that you go for. If you like to switch teams, okay, that's allowed as well. In the East, JSU is still the team to beat, sitting at 3-0. Alabama State's only lost to UCLA so far. They jump into their SWAC schedule this weekend. Bethune-Cookman Valley and Alabama A&M, they're all looking for wins. FAMU with the victory against Albany State, but had that before his bye weekend, looking to get into the thick of their schedule now. A pivotal matchup at home this weekend. When we talk about that Rattler schedule, Alabama A&M coming to town. The Rattlers do not want a second division loss before October gets here. Out west is still so early, but Prairie View A&M with the win in the Labor Day Classic against Texas Southern. TSU feeling pretty good after that win they had against Southern last weekend. UAPB, it all starts to count this weekend, boys. Grambling State has been up and down, and Alcorn State and Southern sitting right there as well, still early in the year. Well, that's all for Cricket SWAC Game Day presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. Enjoy the games this weekend. Start hydrating with water right now. Look around. Find you some water and drink it because it is still very much summertime in the South. We like to call it fall. It's hot outside. The sun doesn't play favorites. We want you guys to stay safe out there in all seriousness. It's all going down. Football action this weekend. We'll be back right here next week to break it all down. We'll see you then.